A massive hillside carved into volcanic basalt rock extends in the state of Maharashtra, India. At first glance, this area appears ordinary, but when we look deeper, we are confronted with some of the most unexplainable structures in human history. The ancient Ellora caves and the ancient Kailasa Temple, the most inexplicable structure of this giant area. Kailasa, the world's largest monolithic structure, that is, a single-piece structure, is a construction that pushes the minds of researchers into a paradox even today. It is impossible to finish it in the construction time mentioned in historical documents. It is almost impossible to build it with such flawless precision, and most importantly, it was impossible to build this structure under the conditions of that time. And while the structure stands before us in all its splendor, could the truths behind all these impossibilities be much different from what we are told? Welcome to Find the Truth. Kailasa, created by carving a mountain slope from the top down without the use of normal construction techniques, welcomes its visitors with a height of approximately 33 meters, which is twice the height of the Great Pantheon Temple, the apple of Athens' eye. We do not know exactly who built this enormous structure or when. However, the oldest tangible written source is a text called Kata Kalp Taru, written in the Middle Ages. And the legend in this text narrates the story of Kailasa in an interesting way. According to the legend, the local king became seriously ill, and the queen promised to build a temple for the god Shiva if her husband recovered, and to fast until she saw the top of the temple, the Shikara. After the queen's vow, the king miraculously recovered, and the construction of the temple began. However, since it would take years for the top of a temple to emerge using traditional methods, it was understood that the queen would not be able to break her fast for a long time. It is at this point that a master architect, whose name is mentioned as Kokasa in the legends, intervenes and says that he can make the temple's top visible in just 1 week by using the method of carving downwards from the mountain summit. According to the legend, the temple was indeed started to be carved from the top of the mountainside. The queen quickly saw the magnificent top of the temple and could break her fast, and thus the Kailasa Temple was rapidly completed by being constructed from top to bottom. This is the only written text we have about the structure, and although it contains fantastic elements, the information that the temple was indeed carved out of the mountain rock in one piece from the top down is a currently accepted fact in the archaeological world. However, everything else is a huge mystery. Yes, this text was written in the Middle Ages, but there is no clear information about which king or which date it refers to. But since mainstream history likes to fill in the blanks, they say that the structure was built by Krishna I during the Rashtrakuta Empire period in 756 AD, and it is insisted that the construction was completed in 18 years. However, the funny thing is that there is not a single line of historical document belonging either to that king or to such a construction project. Well, then how does this enter the history books like this, you ask? If possible, watch the previous similar videos on the channel and better understand what kind of fabricated history is presented to you. I'm tired of protesting already. I said that, according to mainstream history, the temple was completed in 18 years. However, here, not only is there no historical support, but there is no logical support either. Why? Because the structure itself, according to this explanation, turns into a scientifically and technically impossible structure. Let's start with the structure being built in 18 years. At the specified time, 1,500 years ago, advanced technology did not exist, and when the volume of the temple is calculated, it is estimated that about 400,000 tons of rock were removed from the mountainside. Considering that even an average truck carries 20 tons of load, you understand how huge the alleged excavation was. What makes the situation even more complicated is that just to remove 400,000 tons of rock from the area in 18 years, 61 tons of rock need to be removed per day. Let's say they worked like slaves for 12 hours. This means removing 5 tons of rock per hour. I'm not even counting the precise workmanship. And as you can see, this is not a structure that was recklessly approached and carved just for the sake of carving. Considering such large and precise workmanship, it is an almost impossible event to be completed within the specified time, under the conditions of that day. But what makes things even more complicated is where the 400,000 tons of rock went. There is not a single trace of where such a massive excavation, think of debris the weight of 2 Empire State Buildings, disappeared to, neither at the Kailasa Temple nor in the 1.5-kilometer Ellora Caves complex. It literally seems to have vanished into thin air, doesn't it? Indeed, although it sounds fantastic, we will return to this topic in the Hindu texts themselves shortly. Remember again that the structure was made by carving a mountain slope from the top and breaking hard rocks. The creation of such a huge structure with such precise workmanship, with the simple tools and conditions of that era, is something close to impossible according to our historical knowledge, because the margin of error in such a job must be close to zero. After all, you are carving a mountain. If you make a mistake, you don't have a chance to do it again. And despite this, Kailasa is a structure with perfect symmetry. And this is not for nothing. The main purpose of the structure is to show the dualistic nature of the universe. For this reason, it was designed to display Shiva's duality and balance of cosmic creation and destruction. The center of the structure represents balance, or Shiva, while the right and left symmetry are decorated with Vishnu and Shakti motifs, representing male and female energy. And it was specially designed for the perfect fluctuation of acoustics during rituals. There is no AutoCAD, no laser alignment, no giant trucks or dynamite. 400,000 tons of rock debris did not emerge, and we do not have a single piece of evidence about who really built this place and how. Now, do you understand why I called it an impossible structure at the beginning of the video? The part of the issue up to here was an effort to explain and place the event within the framework of logic and science. However, since we have failed in this regard, it is time to move on to the extreme and mysterious side of the issue. Because there, we encounter the following story, which has been passed down for generations. Kailasa is not a human work, but a divine work, made using a special tool given by the god Shiva. The location of the Kailasa Temple is not a random place, because right opposite it, there is a place of extraordinary importance for Hindus and many other Eastern beliefs, Mount Kailash. And the temple was built exactly opposite it, as its projection. There is a video on my channel about this mountain, seen as the throne and main home of the god Shiva, and the subject of countless paranormal stories. I recommend you watch it. The link is in the description. According to the legend, Shiva, sitting on the cosmic throne on Mount Kailash, commissions Vishwakarma, the divine architect of the gods, to build a temple on earth that would represent his throne and that people could use. Vishwakarma is an extremely skilled entity who built the palaces, flying vehicles, and even weapons of the gods, and according to the accounts, he used extremely advanced technology. And it is said that this friend built this temple with a technology that is mentioned in the myths as follows: divine lights from the heavens and a vibrating cosmic sound. This is the part where the matter starts to take a more fantastic turn. In ancient India, in texts like the Samaveda, we find narratives about how sound vibrations, or frequencies, can deeply affect the material world and even change the nature of things. And this is generally called Nada Brahma. The universe is sound. The essence of all creation is sound, is frequency. I know this sounds like far-fetched claims at first. Indians are good at the art of exaggeration. However, we are talking about Vedic science here, and there are indeed countless works in India made with techniques far ahead of their time. Indeed, there are scientific explanations for these. For example, the magical musical instruments of the gods are mentioned in legends, and we see narratives such as mountains even trembling and stones shattering with these music, with these sounds. Those who are curious can examine objects like Saraswati's Veena or Krishna's flute. It is now a scientifically known fact that sound, or rather vibration, has a very serious power over objects. Nikola Tesla even developed this technology and almost caused the complete collapse of the building he was in during an experiment. That is, the narrative in the myths that the mountain began to take shape with the cosmic sound from the sky. Yes, although it sounds like an extreme claim, there is indeed a scientific basis behind it. It's just that such techniques and myths are usually treated with fantastic descriptions like the god of water or the god of so-and-so, so most people overlook them. However, please do not forget that humans have continuously added the technologies or events they could not explain throughout the ages to their cultures and even their religions with divine and sacred motifs. But the story does not end there. Remember, it also mentioned divine light beams coming from the sky accompanying this sound. You see these divine lights very often in Hindu legends, and they usually have destructive effects. For example, the fiery ray coming from Shiva's third eye pierces mountains. It is narrated that the god Indra shatters the obstacles in front of him with a lightning-like light. The master Vishwakarma uses this light to make weapons for the gods. So, you have a divine ray that melts stones, shapes metals, and is both destructive and has industrial qualities. And what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Laser, of course. Yes, we are now wandering at the extreme limits, and it would be wrong to say it happened like this. But we have an extraordinary structure formed by the perfect carving of hard volcanic rocks. No one knows who built the structure or when. There is not a single trace of the 400,000 tons of rock that should have emerged during its construction. When all these come together, especially the situation where that debris somehow disappeared, one can't help but wonder. But now it's time to broaden our research. And we are going to the Ellora caves, which cover an area of 1.5 kilometers, of which Kailasa is a part. And the mysteries we were trying to solve on the surface are now beginning to meet us underground. The Ellora caves, which surround Kailasa and consist of 34 large man-made caves, greet us like a collective center of worship, with 12 dedicated to Buddhism, 17 to Hinduism, and 5 to Jainism. Once again, it is not known exactly when they were built, although the general consensus is that different faiths dug these caves as a kind of worship center between 600 and 1000 AD. When we look at it, they are all regularly spread across the area. And in fact, recent research has detected the traces of many more caves that have been swallowed up by the forest and soil. And it is thought that there are a total of about 100 caves in the area. So, a place whose origin is once again hidden behind the mists stands before us. What makes Ellora mysterious is the acoustic engineering in the caves, which can be called exaggerated. In some deep Buddhist monastery caves, the acoustics are so precisely adjusted that when the meditating monk at one end of the cave recites a mantra, a deep sound echoes from the other side of the structure, as if coming out of a choir's mouth. Some visitors have also reported hearing faint drum and bell sounds from the walls of the cave when no one else was around. And this is such a frequently encountered situation that over time it has even led to the birth of the legend of the spirits of Ellora in the region. The mystery of the Ellora region does not end here. When we delve into more esoteric depths, writers known for their theosophy research, such as Helena Blavatsky, Annie Besant, and Alice Bailey, have attributed a special meaning to this region. According to them, the Ellora cave complex was a structure built on the Great Positive Ley Line, of which Mount Kailash is a part, and it was also an underground city complex. According to them, members of humanity's root races were guarding ancient knowledge in the tunnel networks beneath the caves, and the region consisted of global gates used by those beings to enter and exit our world. Now, this is a point where the issue reaches very extreme limits, and I personally see theosophists as somewhat eccentric types. However, one thing is true. There are tunnels going underground in certain parts of the region, especially the Kailasa Temple. And currently these entrances are closed. If you listen to the local people, these tunnels lead to the king's room under the temple, and there are serious treasures there. If you listen to the theosophists, these tunnels are paths opening to other underground cities. And if you listen to the archaeologists, these tunnels are part of the water drainage system, which indeed works very successfully after hundreds of years and protects the structure from floods and water erosion, despite being in a region that receives heavy rainfall. So, what is the truth? Is Kailasa truly a work of the gods' technology? Is it a gate opening to underground cities? Or is it truly an incredible example of human engineering? It is not possible to give a precise answer to this right now. But personally, as someone who has had the opportunity to examine similar structures in Asia, I can say this. There was once a system that spread from India to the region called Vedic science, or the lost science of ancient times. And the structures made with this system, with this science, have a level of engineering that is truly mind-blowing. The mastery in shaping rocks, ensuring the structure settles better on the ground with earthquakes, the establishment of a water and infrastructure system far ahead of its time, the cosmic alignment of the structures, and perhaps most importantly, an abnormally precise engineering regarding acoustics. Unfortunately, this science was forgotten over time, and people later started to combine these structures with myths, as you saw in the examples, because of its advanced nature. The irony of the matter is this. In Hindu culture, it is narrated that Vedic wisdom was taught to humans by the gods after the Great Flood, as the advanced divine science from before the flood. That is, no matter how you look at it, it is a science whose origin is somehow linked to celestial beings. In the case of Kailasa, it must have used advanced techniques for that era. However, there are three questions that no one can really answer. First, why was this structure specifically built there by carving a mountain? Second, how was it built in such a short time? And third, where did the 400,000 tons of debris disappear to? I haven't even included the debris from the nearly 100 caves next to it. I don't know if we will ever be able to answer these questions one day, but it is a fact that ancient India has much to teach us. And I am sure that if the thousands of Sanskrit parchments sitting in libraries are translated one day, we will also be able to learn this forgotten ancient knowledge. See you in the next video. Take care.